the story of Anchin and Kiyohime handed down at Dojoji Temple. It is a record of a terrifying phenomenon where human passion takes a physical form, transcending the framework of mere old legends or folklore. This tragedy, told since the Heian period, depicts the ruin of a young monk and a girl who fell madly in love with him. However, why did Kiyohime have to abandon her humanity and transform into a giant serpent? There, a muddy, negative energy swirls beyond our imagination. From the perspective of modern psychology and physics, Kiyohime's transformation could be called a phenomenon of materialization caused by an abnormal level of concentration. If you were to love someone from the bottom of your heart, and that love was betrayed, at that moment, the possibility that the same flame as Kiyohime's would ignite within your body is by no means zero. The village of Manago, where Kiyohime lived, was a quiet place surrounded by deep mountains. It was there that Anchin, a beautiful monk on a journey of ascetic practice, stopped by. For Kiyohime, meeting Anchin was a powerful ray of light that pierced through her tedious daily life. Despite being at an age where innocence still remained, she began to show an abnormal obsession toward Anchin. On the other hand, Anchin, though a man of practice, was bewildered by Kiyohime's intense approach and ended up making a haphazard promise on the spot, a lie of convenience saying he would surely stop by again on his way back. Anchin at that time had no way of knowing that this small lie would later turn into a hellfire, strong enough to burn down an entire village. Have you ever felt a rage so intense you couldn't control it when betrayed by someone important? The moment she learned that Anchin had broken his promise and passed by to avoid her, something inside Kiyohime's heart broke decisively. Kiyohime started running barefoot along the steep mountain path. Her appearance was already insane, her hair was disheveled, her eyes were bloodshot, and a beast-like groan was said to leak from her mouth. What drove her was not pure love, but a tremendous spirit of revenge for being betrayed. When she reached the banks of the Hidaka River, changes began to occur in Kiyohime's body. Her body temperature rose abnormally due to intense anger. Her skin became covered in hard scales, and her limbs degenerated, connecting into a long torso. It was not biological evolution, but a cruel process of mutation, where spiritual energy forcibly rewrote the flesh. In front of the raging torrent of the Hidaka River, Kiyohime finally transformed completely into a giant serpent. Her human words were lost, and only an eerie roar, like calling Anchin's name, echoed around. Kiyohime, having no means to cross the river, sliced through the waves with her giant snake body and swam to the opposite bank at a furious speed. In Kiyohime's eyes at this time, the human, named Anchin, was likely no longer visible, only his existence as a target to be erased. The villagers who witnessed this saw the river surface turn bright, red and steam rising, and they trembled, thinking the gates of hell had opened. Imagine the terror of the energy called obsession, interfering with the real world to such an extent and moving with physical mass. Anchin fled for his life into Dojoji Temple. The monks of the temple, feeling pity for Anchin, as he sought help with a pale face, hid him inside a massive bronze bell located on the grounds. The heavy bronze bell was supposed to be a robust shield to protect him from external enemies. However, who could have predicted that this would become Anchin's headstone? It was a giant serpent of fire, dozens of meters long, that destroyed the temple gates and surged into the grounds. When Kiyohime found the bell where Anchin was hiding, she wrapped her massive body around it multiple times. Then, with the hellfire erupting from her own body, she began to heat the bell until it was glowing red. The temperature inside the bell rose in an instant, and Anchin perished in a scream within the scorched cage, from which there was no escape, turning into charcoal. This tremendous conclusion symbolizes the destructive aspect of the emotion called love. The fire that Kiyohime emitted was not a physical fire like that used for burning charcoal, but a spiritual fire where her soul itself went up in flames. After burning Anchin to death, it is said that Kiyohime left a sorrowful voice once and threw herself into a nearby inlet to commit suicide, killing the one you loved with your own hands, and then paying the price yourself. This chain of tragedy continues to repeat in different forms, even in modern times. It is no exaggeration to say that the shadow of Kiyohime always lurks behind stalker problems and incidents caused by intense passion. Have you ever imagined the moment your love turns into a flame that consumes the other person? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section. A new bell was later donated to Dojoji Temple to replace the one destroyed in this incident. However, on the day of the memorial service, when the bell was completed, another mysterious incident occurred. A single shirabyoshi dancer appeared, and while she was approaching the bell while performing a dance, the bell suddenly fell, swallowing her up. When they checked inside, it is said that there was once again the figure of a giant snake. Kiyohime's resentment remained in that land even after death, continuing to show an abnormal rejection of the existence of the bell. Even if the physical body is destroyed, intense thoughts are engraved as information in that place and are reproduced across hundreds of years. This is the true nature of paranormal phenomena, and the reason why Kiyohime is still talked about today. It is easy to dismiss the story of Kiyohime as mere superstition. However, there are many similar giant serpent legends all over Japan. Why is it that many of them are related to women's jealousy or sadness? It may be because ancient Japanese people instinctively feared the fundamental power of life hidden within women, or the destructive energy that cannot be stopped once ignited. Kiyohime became a giant snake, but that was not just her individual problem. It merely shows a part of the latent transformation ability possessed by the human species. If placed in an extreme state, can we say for certain that the ancient memories engraved in our DNA will never awaken and change our form? Finally, what the legend of Kiyohime is asking us is the weight of promises and the control of emotions. If Anchin had faced her with sincerity, or if Kiyohime had known a way to calm her own heart, such a tragedy would not have happened. However, humans are always imperfect and are creatures that make mistakes. It is said that when you visit the site of the bell at Dojoji Temple, you can still feel a certain heat and a gaze that pierces the skin. That might be because Kiyohime is still crawling through the darkness of the grounds today, looking for insincere people who break their promises. Is there anyone around you with an unusually strong sense of obsession? That person might be a modern-day potential Kiyohime. Where exactly is the boundary between love and obsession? The story of Kiyohime reflects the figure of the monster dwelling in the depths of our hearts that we usually look away from. If you have the chance to visit Dojoji Temple, try listening closely to the sound of that bell. Within that resonance, you might hear the cry of Anchin, writhing in pain, and the sobbing of Kiyohime driven mad by sadness. Whether you laugh this story off as just an old tale, or take it as a lesson to restrain the Kiyohime within yourself, is up to you. If this video touched your heart even a little, please give it a high rating and subscribe to the channel. Please also share your mysterious experiences or episodes of obsessive people in the comments section.